1 phim hot, phim moi phim hot T and number 7853, P4 Viet sub. High and number 7879, PS and number 297, on TR and number 259, NG, Moon Knight B and number 7843, N and number 272, and number 7865, PhD NG and number 432, and number 7901, ID and number 417, I, the Batman T and number 7853, P6 Viet sub. Kong T and number 7889, Vien Chu and number 7875, N Sin, again my life HD Viet sub 2. Top 60 Phim Hey, OM and number 7929, Trung, Han Siu Hot, M and number 7899, INH and number 7845, T 2022 Tren, Top 60 Phim Hey M and number 7899, INH and number 7845, T, and number 273, Ang Hot Tren Netflix 2022. Kung Zum Phim L and number 7867, Hey, Han and number 273, and number 7897, NG Bomb T and number 7845, NM and number 7929, Phim Trui and number 7873, N Hin Han Chu and number 7889, C, Phim C and number 7893, Trang Trung Chu and number 7889, C, 3. Phim Han Chu and number 7889, C 2021 Hey Gay Chapter and number 7845, N and number 273, and number 7897, NG Man and number 7843, NH, Momo rating 5, 0, 1.297, 4. PHIM Hot, Zum Phim Online, VAO PHIM Hot. Trui and number 7873, Ntui and number 7871, TTH and number 7909, CS and number 417, N, V and number 7841, N Key and number 7871, M Quy Tong, Viet sub, Zum Phim L and number 7891, NG Titanium and number 7871, NG, Phim Chi and number 7871, UR and number 7841, P, Phim Tui and number 7871, T Min, Zum Phim M and number 7899, INH and number 7845, T, Zum Phim Me and number 7877, N5. Phim Hot C and number 7853, PNH and number 7853, T CAC B and number 7897, Phim M and number 7899, I, Phim Hot Full HDV and number 7899, IT and number 7889, C and number 273, and number 7897, Load and Han, Kong Chapter and number 7913, Achu and number 7843, NGCAOT and number 7841, IFIM Hot. Zum Phim Hey TR and number 7921, C Tai and number 7871, NT and number 7841, IAPH IMHOT1.com.6. C and number 7853, PNH and number 7853, TM and number 7899, I45B and number 7897, Phim Han Chu and number 7889, C Hey Tren Netflix, Klook Blog 20 January 2022, K-Drama Chapter and number 432, Abaogi and number 7901, LAH and number 7871, T Hot. CAC M and number 7885, T Phim HY Kung Klook and number 273, I and number 7875, M Dan 45B and number 7897, Phim Han Chu and number 7889, C Hey Tren Netflix and number 273, Ang Lam M and number 432, Alam Jo M and number 7841, NGX7. 35B and number 7897, Phim Trung Chu and number 7889, C Hey B and number 7841, NCO TH and number 7875, and number 8220, K and number 8221, Tren Netflix, Klook 21 January 2022, C and number 7853, PNH and number 7853, TN Han Kak Phim Trung Chu and number 7889, C He, Phim Trui and number 7873, N Hin Trung Chu and number 7889, C, Phim Trui and number 7879, N Trung Chu and number 7889, C, Phim Hoa NG and number 7919, and number 273, Ang Hot Trend Netflix 8. Low and number 7841, T Phim Trui and number 7873, N Hin Chin K and number 7883, Chapter, Netflix Co NH and number 7919, NG Cao Chu and number 7879, NH and number 7845, PD and number 7851, N and number 273, and number 7871, NN and number 7895, IC and number 7847, NNHI and number 7873, UH and number 417, NM and number 7897, TB and number 7897, FIM-M and number 7899, ICO-TH and number 7875, K and number 7875, TR and number 7885, NLO and number 7841, TFIM-T and number 7897, IPH and number 7841, M, FIM-Y COA, COA-H and number 7885, CVI and number 7877, NT and number 432, and number 7903, NGVAR and number 7845, TNHI and number 7873, UTH and number 7875, low and number 7841, I9. Tag, FIMHOT, KENH14 FIMHOT, TIN T and number 7913, CHIN and number 7843, NHM and number 7899, INH and number 7845, TLUAN and number 273, and number 432, and number 7907, CC and number 7853, PNH and number 7853, TLEAN T and number 7909, C, Chapter and number 7911, and number 273, and number 7873, FIMHOT, M and number 7897, T and number 273, O and number 7841, NC and number 7855, T Trong NH and number 7883, P Tim L and number 7847, ML and number 7841, C, B and number 7897, FIM VI and number 7879, TRAM and number 7855, T Cock and number 273, I22N and number 259, M10. 40 Chepfim Hot YT and number 432, and number 7903, NG M Ton, The Maze Runner, Rio 2 Fim Jarhead 2, Lin TH and number 7911, Y and number 272, on B and number 7897, 2, 2014. Hung Mai, Chepfim, Hot Fim Con Air, Kong T and number 7863, C. Nicolas Cage, Film Cinema, Cinema Posters, Movie 11. 10 Trailer Film Hot NH and number 7845, T. Tuesday and number 7847, N. Tin T and number 7913, CM and number 7899, INH and number 7845, T24H Qua, VN Express 10 Trailer Film Hot NH and number 7845, T Tuesday and number 7847, N. Trong and number 8220, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol 2 and number 8221, N Humvee and number 7879, Binjap M and number 7863, T Cha C and number 7911, A Peter Quill, M and number 7897, TTH and number 7921, CTH and number 7875, V and number 7899, IS and number 7913, CM and number 7841, NHKH and number 7893, NGL and number 7891, 12. Su H and number 432, and number 7899, NG, L and number 432, and number 7899, T Fim, Zum Fim Hot, Viet Sub, Tui and number 7871, T Min, Loat phim com, Trangsum phim m and number 7899, I, phim hot, phim online, Viet sub, Tui and number 7871, T min and Han Chong, chapter and number 7845, TL and number 432, and number 7907, NG full HD 13. TR and number 7885, NB and number 7897, Phim Hot Chi and number 7871, UR and number 7841, P Trui and number 7873, N Hin, 24H.18 April 2022, Phim Chi Rap 2022, GI and number 7899, ITHI and number 7879, UNH and number 7919, NG TAC PH and number 7849, M and number 273, I and number 7879, N and number 7843, NHG and number 7871, UR and number 7841, PM and number 7899, INH and number 7845, T, and number 273, and number 7863, CS and number 7855, CNH and number 7845, TC and number 7911, ATH and number 7871, GI and number 7899, IVAVI and number 7879, T Nam Trong N and number 259, M 2011.14. Phim Hot, Vietnam Nat D and number 7879, N Chu and number 7847, N Jeans, AO Coactum Mao and number 273, and CA Tin, L and number 432, and number 417, NG Zhong GOPM and number 7863, T Trong S and number 7921, Key and number 7879, NRAM and number 7855, T Phim B and number 7897, BA Nan, Glass, T and number 7889, I15/115. Top 10 NH and number 7919, NG Phim Hot Trend Netflix Ma B and number 7841, N Kongnan B and number 7887, L and number 7905. Netflix LAD and number 7883, Chapter V and number 7909, H and number 7897, IT and number 7909, NH and number 7919, NGB and number 7897, Phim Hot and number 273, Ang and number 273, and number 432, and number 7907, CR and number 7845, TNHI and number 7873, UNG and number 432, and number 7901, I and number 432, ACHU and number 7897, NG High and number 7879, NA. The End of the F-ing World, Stranger Things Money Heist and number 8211, 5E and number 7909.